Hi, welcome to Skilled Pastor, where we offer practical advice for better ministry. My name is Rob Nieves, and if this is your first time on this channel, welcome. Consider subscribing to this channel because every single week we're putting out new content, new information, helpful, practical tips that you can use in everyday ministry. Well, today we want to talk about the one thing that you must protect in your ministry. Just one thing. Now, Jesus, when he prayed for his disciples, he prayed for one thing for them. He said, Father, I pray that they might be one, just as you and I are one, Father. I pray that they might be one. One of the things that really mattered to Jesus was unity. Now, if you're in a small church context, I want you to know that unity is the one thing that you have to protect. And it really starts with you. As the pastor, people are going to come to you talking to you about divisive things. So they're going to come and they're going to share with you stories about other people. And as a pastor, what you need to do is you need to protect that unity. How do you protect that unity? How do you engage in a conversation while upholding the integrity of someone else and the validation of that other person? And maybe they're coming with some terrible news. Maybe it's even gossip. Let's be honest. You know, they're just coming and they might not even call it gossip. They might just say, hey, this is what's going on and I need to talk to you about this. But how do you protect yourself from making sure that that conversation doesn't end up in that person's ears and all of a sudden that person now thinks that you've engaged in gossip about them? Okay, so you need to protect the unity. I'm going to tell you something that I really believe. Paul, when he talked about, being a pastor, about being an elder, one of the things that he said is that they need to manage their households well. And the reason I think that he said that is simply because pastoring is a lot like good parenting. Pastoring, there's a lot of similarities between the two. And I don't mean to belittle those in our congregation, and I don't want you to think that I'm calling them immature, but in some ways, these people that we shepherd, they are like our children. And like in any good family, children are going to fight with one another. There's going to be envy. They're going to fight over toys. It's going to happen. But you are the person that God has called to say, okay, you're going to shepherd them through this. One of the things that I find, and I really advocate this a lot, I talk a lot about it, is that whenever someone comes and they tell me something about someone else, or anytime I have to confront anything, one of the things that I do is that I ask questions, right? But I ask questions in defense of the other person, right? So let's say person A comes to me talking about person B. What do? How do I handle that situation? I can, I can engage and say, yeah, person B is horrible, and I can get into that mode and oh yeah, I've noticed the same things about person B. And what happens is person A will then later on in life talk to person B and say, hey, you know what the pastor said about you? And what person A does not do, they do not tell person B what you say, and they don't bring in the context. So before you know it, you're the really bad person in this whole ordeal. So what should you do? What should we do? Here's what I do. I'll ask them, have you spoken to this person about that? How did you notice that? What caused you to think that, to believe that about this person? That's odd to me. I've never saw that behavior. And I will do my best to protect person B and really put it back on person A and say, hey, have you taken the necessary steps to discuss this issue with person B? How do you know that this issue is even true? And I'll put it right back on them, and I'll cause them, with my questions, to really question even their heart and their motivation. Their heart could be good and their motivation could be good, but sometimes, let's face it, their motivation and their hearts are not good. So I cause them to question themselves, and I also try to ask questions to protect this person. Maybe it's not the way that you're seeing things. Maybe it's not that way. Maybe you should talk to them. And what I try to do is bring it back to them. Now, do I have my opinions? Of course I have my opinions. Should I share my opinions in that moment? Probably not. There could be a time for that, but probably not. Most times you just need to put it back on the person, and now you want to make sure that this person knows that you've acknowledged that what they're thinking is true, or not that it's true necessarily, but that you're validating their complaint or their issue. You're validating that, but at the same time you're making sure that you're pastoring them and asking them, hey, Have you gone through the appropriate channels? Like, have you done the right thing in this situation? Because at the end of the day, you're also trying to protect and pastor person A. So yes, maybe there is an issue with person B. But before we get to that issue, let's make sure we have all our ducks in a row. Let's make sure that we know what we need to know. And here's what you don't want to do. You don't want to engage in assumptions about person B, no matter how many times they failed, no matter what they've done. Because again, that can get you into a lot of trouble. And what you need to do as a pastor, you need to protect the unity in the church. Pastors, I'm going to encourage you, if you enjoyed this video, I'm going to encourage you to share it with your leadership, because this is really the way that you can, and your leaders can, handle all these different conflicts that arise, that happen, and they're all real. But we have to make sure that we're consistently protecting the unity. How do we protect the unity? By protecting person A, by protecting person B, and really protecting the organization at large. I hope you found this content helpful. If you did, I want to encourage you again, subscribe to this channel, give us a like. It lets us know that you're engaged and that you agree with what's going on. And if you have questions, or maybe you disagree with some of what we said, go ahead and leave a comment. We'd love to enter into discussion. God bless you. We'll see you on the next video.